For more on what we can expect today, let's bring in Chandelle Summers. She's an attorney and conservative radio talk show host. Chandelle, thanks so much for joining us this morning. How do you expect this race to turn out today? Do you think Sanders will be on top, or do you see Buttigieg edging out a win?
I think Sanders will probably be on top based on all the polling, and he seems to be pulling away from Buttigieg. All of these candidates that the Democrats have put up all have sort of a problem. Obviously, with Sanders, it's the labeling of a socialist, and that is the antithesis of what America stands for. We're capitalists. We're not into communism and socialism and those types of things. And if you are a person of a certain age, you grew up with a fear and a hatred of those titles. So to have a candidate who openly flaunts that, to me, is a difficult challenge for the Democrats going into a general election. And Mayor Pete, although he is absolutely, and he has adopted the cadence and the spirit of President Obama and likes comparisons to the two, he's really very young. And I thought Joe Biden's ad where he pointed out that, being the mayor of South Bend, Indiana does not really involve that much responsibility in terms of global issues was very effective. So I think all these candidates are flawed. The big question mark for me is whether or not the Democrats will embrace Mike Bloomberg. To me, he seems like the perfect candidate because of the fact that he is a very successful businessman, which appeals to the capitalist nature of Americans. And he also has enough liberal causes, gun control, and some of the other things he's proffered, that will appeal to the Democrats in general. And you really need to be a uniter of the Democratic Party.
Sure. And speaking of Bloomberg, the Morning Consult poll we showed earlier had a few surprises, including a boost for Bloomberg, who also came out on top in the Dixville Notch contest. What do you make of this big bump? Do you think that he could be a serious contender as we move south to South Carolina and then out west to Nevada?
I think that the Democratic Party establishment is in a full-fledged panic over the prospect of Sanders or Buttigieg, or Warren for that matter, being the nominee. Amy Klobuchar, to me, is a little bit more tolerable for the moderate side of the Democratic Party. And keep in mind that when Sanders is polling 22%, that's only 22% of 100%. So it's like 1 in 4 Democrats is going that direction. He may be getting the majority of the votes right now, but that's only because there's so many people in the primary. But I think that the vast majority of Democrats are going to want to see a moderate. And that's why Joe Biden was so electric in the beginning. Now he's faded from really contention. I don't think anyone really thinks he's a contender. And I believe that that's because he's been damaged by the allegations, true or untrue, that President Trump has been making about his corruption or the corruption of his son in Ukraine.
Sure. That's a very interesting point to make. Chandelle Summers, she's an attorney and conservative radio talk show host. Thanks for joining us.